Good morning, everyone. Happy trading day. We are back live today. Today, we're going to do something different. This is going to be our live trading commentary. So we're going to show you some of the things that we do in our pro group. And together with me, we have Patrick. Of course, you guys know them. And I would like to introduce you also with Jordan. Jordan is a recent addition to the team, part of our pro group. And together, we're going to go over the market action from today and answer any question that you might have. I'll let you guys.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
Hi.
Welcome everyone. My name is Patrick. As Fabio say, I think most of you know me. If you don't know me, I'm trading more than 20 years professional. I'm living from trading. I'm hosting also the pro group in the MenthorQ community. Yeah, I was also the brain on the blind spot. So yeah, that's me. Nothing special. Only a trader. Only the normal one. And you, John, welcome to the team. So you will join us.
Thank you.
Official now. So welcome.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Jordan, maybe if you want to just give a brief background of your experience and how long you've been trading and what kind of type of trading you do, that would be awesome.
Sure. I've been trading. Oh, wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, almost 40 years.
Oh, wow.
I started trading probably right out of high school with stocks and options. And probably about 6 years ago, I moved strictly to futures. And a couple years ago, came across MenthorQ and have not looked back. I love their levels, how they give you clarity. And so that's what I'm doing now. I trade, I'd say 90% full time.
Okay.
So I have some outside business interests, but most of it is trading.
Yeah, and I think similar to what we did with Patrick, right? We met Patrick about a year ago. Patrick was a free subscriber, liked our levels, and we found a lot of synergies. So we started partnering together, and I think we did the same with you. You were one of our first pro users, as well as one of our first premium user at the beginning. So happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And before we go into kind of showing some of the new things for new traders and new members, like how important do you think option data plays in today's current environment? Because I think there's a lot of people that still are uncertain. There's like, I don't trade options, but they are too complicated. But in reality, if you are a futures trader, you don't really need to know everything about option, but I think you need to account the power of option. And I would love to understand your opinion on this one.
I think more and more every day. Options are growing like crazy. And, when I first started, we had, I think it was just monthly options. And now we have 0 DTE and on everything. All the indices and stuff. So I think it's really, really become important to know what's going on with the options and how the dealers are hedging themselves, because they can really move the market.
Absolutely. What about you, Patrick? I'm sure you think the same, but would be awesome to hear it from you as well.
Yeah, so Fabio, I think you was showing us every time some statistic, and maybe you can show the statistic again, and you will see how important this is. So there's no comment from me. So options moves the market. It's really, really important, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't have the chart available, but basically February 2025 was the month with the highest volume in a single day of SPX 0DTE options ever. So it was the time where, the tariffs was announced and obviously a lot of volatility. But basically February 2025 was an incredible month for option volume, both calls and puts, of course.
I mean, and if they need more convincing, you can just look at the way that prices react at the MenthorQ levels and all the GEX levels.
Yeah, and I think yesterday was also a very good example where I think we were looking at the AS, and this was the core resistance actually was the same level, was at this 6,000, And yesterday, for I think about 4 or 5 hours, we were pinned at that level. We weren't able to breach, and then the market kind of just dropped. And now we have this kind of like pinning effect again on the high vol level 0DTs. So I think we can go into the levels and we can like comment. And guys, please, this session is for you. So do not hesitate to send us any comments or questions. We are here to help you understand how to use the data, and we are here to help you understand how to apply it in real market scenarios. But I think what I want to do first is let's go into kind of like some of the new things, and now you can now use data to kind of find interesting ideas, right? So for every asset we cover, we assign a score that we call the Q score. The score is based on 4 factors, which is option, volatility, momentum, and seasonality. So of course, if you are an option trader, you want to look at volatility, you want to look at option data to potentially build your option strategies, whether you are long options or whether you're selling premium and so on. But as a future trader or as a stock trader or even like a scalper or swing trader, you want to understand where the market is positioning, right? So you want to understand basically, are we in a bullish trend, and can the option market, can the MenthorQ data tell me that? And I really want to show you an example here. So let's go back and look at NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA a couple of days ago had earnings. So we had basically a lot of movement in the stock. So let me see if I can reload it. Sorry for that. All right. And basically, from the option data, we can see that we are in a very bullish option. That the level goes from 0 to 5, where 0 is bearish and 5 is bullish. And if we look at the history, we can see basically how the option data can help us predict the price action. So what you see here is the recent rally that we see in NVIDIA. So we were very bearish about a month ago. And in a matter of a few days, we went from a score of 0, so very bearish, to a score of 4, which is quite bullish. And of course, you see the price moves. And even if you are not able to capture this move, you could have benefited from this really strong uptrend. So the price went from below 100 or 105 almost to now 130 plus. So this is like kind of like a 20% return or movement in a matter of less than a month. So the goal of this score is to help you understand immediately when you get in, are we bullish or bearish on the asset? And you can do that for every asset that we cover right there. But the cool thing is that now we've added the ability for you to screen for those scores. So understand, for example, if you are looking for a bullish trade or a bearish trade, show me the asset with the highest option score, right? So here we see basically that now SPX, NVIDIA, Google, Meta, all the Max 7 are really experiencing a very strong bullish momentum coming from the option score. But what if I want to see the other score? So we see that our momentum score on NVIDIA is 4. We're in a very low volatility, and we don't have really a seasonality score yet. And then I can kind of like rank them and understand. We are also in positive gamma. We also can see the implied volatility, and the IV rank is here as well. But the very interesting thing is not just looking at the value, but just looking at the increase or decrease. So if you want to bet on a bullish trade, you could come here and see, okay, what are the assets that have seen the strongest increase in option score compared to the previous day? So for example, here we have the Euro currency ETF, so 3 points increase in option score, and then you have all these assets, Coca-Cola, so 1 increase in option score, etc. And then you can do the same for all the other scores, and you can do the same if you want to see a decrease. So if you are betting on a bearish strategy or on a bearish trade, then you can come here and see, for example, that Salesforce recently reported bad earnings, has a -4 change in option score. So then you can click here, come to the asset, and just look at what's going on there. So we are very bearish on Salesforce, and then we can go back on our chart and then look at our levels and see what happened with the asset and understand where the levels are and so on. So I think this is very powerful, but let me know if you have any questions or comments, guys.
Yeah, so I think, Jordan and Fabio, we have so many new users, and the question what we always get, no matter in which community, if we be in the pro group or if we be on the MenthorQ community, the question is always how we can leverage based on the data. And do you have, based on your product experience, Fabio, some good hands-on how people can really leverage on this? What should be the first step that they can implementate this in their trading journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we've done with the Q score is exactly that, and I think it's very powerful, and we're going to spend more time also in the next few weeks to talk about it. But essentially, what we want to monitor is changes in the market, right? Obviously, the market is driven by news recently, especially, but is also driven by liquidity, positioning, and volatility. So by looking at how this changes, you can understand what can happen to your assets. So it doesn't matter what asset you trade, you want to understand where the market is going. So if we go back to our SPX, for example, and let's go back in time, right? So let's go back to April. Yeah, we can go back to April. So in April, we were in a totally different world, and obviously we were very bearish. We were worried about the tariffs and what could happen. But take a look at not only the chart here, but take a look at the strong shift in the score. So one thing that I would always monitor is if I'm trading futures, if I'm trading ES or NQ, open up the NQQ score and just look if we see a strong, basically, spike in the Q score. So here we see we were very bullish. This was February, and then suddenly news happened, events in the market. We now go from a 5 score to a 0 in a matter of 3 days. So again, take a look at what the price does. So the price just drops 20%, right? So understanding this big shift in the market is very important. And to the opposite side, if we go back to, let's go back on Tesla or NVIDIA. Let's go back on Tesla. Tesla is another good example. And let's go back to today, right? So again, we're now very bullish on Tesla, but let's go back in time and see. So Tesla went all the way down to $220, and then suddenly, obviously, news happens and catalyst and macro events, and then our score goes from 0 to 4, and now we see basically an uptrend from $220 to $25 all the way to over $350, where we are right now. So again, monitoring this big move can help you understand, okay, maybe there's a strong trend starting, or the opposite side, maybe there's a strong downtrend starting as well. So I think the key is understand where the option market is moving. The option market is a sentiment indicator. And for us retail traders that we don't have access to all the research that institutionals have or all the data that institutionals have, understanding what people are doing and what investors are doing by looking at the option market can be a very, very good hedge.
Yes, and I think what people should be really understanding, Fabio, is we have different markets, yeah? So we have the options market, we have the stock market, we have the futures market, we have the forex market, and also we have the commodity market. So everything works hand in hand together. So what happens in the options market have, of course, impact on the futures and on the stocks, and also vice versa to the other side. So if you're looking only, let's say you be a stock trader, like you was giving the example from Tesla, you're looking into Tesla, I don't know, you're looking into the level 2 data, you're looking into your technical analysis, and you're looking to volume, you're a volume trader. But I would say to you, you miss maybe 50% of the volume from the stocks, who can move basically the stocks. Why is this? Why I'm saying 50% minimum? Because you miss basically the options market if you're not looking to the options market. So there's also volume, what's really important for you. And second, we have also the dark pool, what you not see, where institutional places trades. but you can really take some advantage from the options market. And this is really key for you. And if you like volume, you like level 2 as stock trader, you cannot miss the options market. Maybe you will not trade options, but you should leverage based on the options data. And if we're now looking into the NQ and we get now the reservoir and we see that we came back from the high vol 0 DTE and we get now a little pump to the upside, but it's only a little pump on the 1 minute. But we see that the options levels, basically from MenthorQ, have something what could be really important for you. And this is also on Tesla. You will see this on Tesla, that gamma levels will highly be respected. And this is something what you should be not miss, definitely not.
Yeah, and those bounces, the important thing, Patrick, is that they're not just bounces that happen. They happen because most of the time there is a lot of option activity at those levels that suddenly the liquidity that has been injected or taken away from the market makes the price move so fast. So like, look at this move from the high vol level to the high vol level 0 DTE. This is not just like an occasional move. It's driven most likely by option data.
Yeah.
And Fabio, I'm correct in saying that the moves are based because the market makers need to hedge their risk, right?
Yeah. So basically, like the idea behind those, especially those levels, those are very, very big level where there are a lot of options activity and a lot of gamma at those level. And then of course you have the 0 DTEs level. So you mentioned before, Jordan, that the volume of 0 DTEs is growing day by day. And also here we are looking at futures options. So the volume on futures options is also growing. And the reason is because futures options are 24/5. So let's imagine that you want to take advantage of an outside market event, like an earnings report after the market happens. Options on stocks and indices, they don't trade after market, while options on future, they trade 24/5. So if you wanted to bet on a move using options, you could do it after market closes or before market opens with futures options. So that's why like those box to box trade, those levels there are very important. And then what happens is the price tries to break. There's also another big level right there, and the price just bounces up.
And also a lot of world news and political news and all that stuff comes out outside of market hours. So
exactly,
use those. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanted to trade CPIs using options, for example, you couldn't do it with SPX options because they're not traded yet until 9:30. So you could trade with futures, of course, but then that could be risky. So if you wanted to trade with futures options, you could do that after market or before market. Yes.
That's great. Yeah, exactly like this, Jordan. You have also the hedging from the market makers, and we was talking about this, Jordan and Fabio. Why are the SPX and ES are really important and have so strong volume? Because if we're looking to the options market, what is the biggest assessed on the options market? What people trading? It's basically the SPX, correct?
Yes. So the biggest option volumes are on SPX and SPY. Also, SPY has a lot of strong options activity, but I think it's important, Patrick, to understand the customer of each of these assets, right? Because basically people that would buy options on SPY could be different, or they might have a different time horizon on their strategy compared to those who are trading SPX. And then also it's important to understand that a lot of the big asset managers are using ES futures to hedge their long positions on stocks. So that's why also the futures flow and the futures option become very important.
Yeah, and the second point, what I want came to is about the market makers. So about the cross margin. So basically, you cannot trade SPX. So it's quite impossible. You can trade only the options, but if you want hedge, what you're doing with course margin, you're going to ES. So basically, you hedge with ES futures, or you go to the SPY. That's what I mean. So you see the picture. If you trading the ES, I think you miss a big picture if you're not looking into SPX options. So that's my main point, because that's something what is really big, and you should not miss this. And this is also why we're giving you the intraday data. So we have futures data, so there are different option chains, but we give you also the opportunity, based with our intraday data, where we have SPX data, that you can convert this anytime to ES, for example. And this is something what I really love, because it's so important that you're looking into the SPX options and not miss this as ES traders. That's my point, what I really want to stress out, Fabio.
Yeah, and I think we can look at what happened yesterday, because I think yesterday was a very good example, right? Where we were kind of like, especially let's go on ES or SPX. So we reached all the way to our 6,000 level, right? Which was the core resistance on both ES and SPX. So we got to this level in pre-market, and then the price dropped all the way, so dropped more than 100 points. So we have a very strong, nice session, pinned at this level here, and then by 9:30 we were already in the 50s, and then we dropped all the way to 5,885. But if you look at the intraday data, so let's go back to yesterday, I think what's very important is understanding the difference in gamma compared to the previous day, and seeing how this change could affect the price movement. So here what we have is 14 snapshots. So we see the latest for the day, but let's go back to the beginning. So we can go back all the way to 9:30 to see what happened at the open. Right, so we open with a lot of negative gamma, right? So you see here, this is the change in gamma at the open compared to the previous day. So at the close of the previous day, we had a gamma profile, and then this is what changed at the beginning of the day. This is 9:35, right? Sorry, 7:45. So let's go to 9:35 actually, so apologies for that. So compared to the previous day, we had some positive gamma appearing here at the open. But then as we move down, we start seeing kind of like a lot of negative gamma piling up. And then we can see what happens towards the close. So we have these levels right here, very key, where we see a lot of negative gamma piling up at this 5,920. And then we can go all the way to replay the day, basically, and see basically what happens. And I think what happens is really, we have a massive drop, and then we kind of see kind of like a small upside towards the middle of the day up to, and we close at this level right here. Let me know if that makes sense, Patrick.
Yeah, 100%. And this is exactly what I mean. It's so important that you not look only to one part. You have to understand the bigger picture, because we have really the beauty based on the options market, and we should use it. Don't miss it. Yeah, 100%. And we see it now on the NQ again. We see also how the blind spots and the gamma levels working together. And this is something what we was stressed yesterday in a pro group, where we was explain how to trade the blind spots. And maybe you can go to the NQ chart and put on the blind spots, Fabio. You see how the blind spots supporting the gamma levels. You see that we have a really good range between the put support and the BL8. So that's basically our supply and demand area. We get the support from the blind spots, we're supporting the gamma levels. And also you were seeing this on the top, where we have high vol and blind spot 4 together. So we have there also our supply and demand area. It's based on data, yeah, what we get. And that's so important to understand when it comes to the blind spots and to the gamma levels in together, how you can trade this together. And look at this. So basically, when we get always our data, Fabio, from the blind spot and from the futures levels, only to understand this. So we was basically available to give you the range few hours before something was actually happened, like what we see now. So that's something what I cannot stress enough. So and you see how everything works together. And it's so important that you understand this concept. If you understand this concept, maybe only today, you were doing an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think the blind spots are a very, very good support. And I think I want to spend more time because we released yesterday our blind spots on forex, and this is our third version of blind spots, but this is a more complex model that we've built, and we are soon going to release it on other assets like Max 7 companies, stocks, potentially also the futures. So the model that we built, I think, is actually looking at more factors, so it's going to actually give you an amazing value as well. So the new model is working perfectly on forex, and we're going to have a session later today, Patrick, on forex with an experienced forex trader. We're going to talk about that later. But I think what we've done with this new model will be amazing when we release it to futures and stocks as well.
100%. And Jordan, as I always ask you also, how you're looking into the gamma levels and maybe also the blind spots, how you read this, how you understand this, and what you teach in the pro group, the members.
So I look at it very similar to the way you look at it, Patrick, but one thing that I like to do different from you is I like to scalp off of the important levels, off of the levels with high GEX, and because I know at those levels the market makers are going to have to react, and usually they stop price and can turn it around a little bit. So that's what I like to scalp when we hit those levels, looking for a quick reaction. And one of my favorites is when we break the level and then we come back and retest it. In other words, if we break it and go move by an ATR and then come back and retest that level, I love to go in the direction of the trend with that. I find it very, very successful. So that's mainly how I use them on a daily basis, because I don't like to stay in the markets as long as some people, because it's just the way I am. I don't have the patience, and today's the way today is in the world. A tweet or X or whatever you want to call it can come out and move the market very quickly, and I don't want to be caught in irrational moves. So
yeah, that's good. 100 point correct. Yeah, and that's also something we are completely different. So Jordan, you be a scalper. Sometimes I be also really quick in and out, but I'm completely different. Sometimes I'm holding much longer. Sometimes I'm really quick. But something what I'm liking on your side is you follow always your trading plan. You have a clear risk management. You risk only few points or ticks. You have everything set up on your end. You share this with our community, and that's really powerful. And I know some people like this really well.
yeah, so I know when going in what my risk is and what my profit is, and I can't control the market, so I let it play out, and I use the levels as my edge. So that's what I found the best way to do it.
So we have a question, Patrick, from Giancarlo. I'm just going to post it in. When do you expect to use the new blind spots for futures like NQ? So currently, the blind spots with the here are on NQ, so we cover futures, indices, ETFs, and forex. So you can already use the blind spots that you see here. You see them in the chart, but maybe Patrick, I'll let you explain how you would use them in this case.
Oh, so you mean now for the NQ?
Yeah.
All right. So as we explained it before, find really out where. Okay, let's begin again. And I was explaining this yesterday in a group. I can do it. I can do it now because we are here live with you guys, and the session is for you. I have two ways how to read the blind spots. My first way is I'm looking always how the blind spots supporting the gamma levels. If some blind spots supporting the gamma levels, perfect. That's exactly what I want. And we were seeing this on BL8 and put support, for example, and BL4 and high wall. So that's gives me a sign that this gamma level is really strong and have enough liquidity, enough power. Because if we understand what blind spots are, so we look into different assets, there are some good way where we calculate this, and this is really, really powerful. And the next way how I'm trading the blind spots is look always to the left side and see how the blind spots was reacting in the past on the left, and then you can mostly see the same reaction.
Yeah,
I hope this is helpful.
I think another way of using it is also as kind of like a risk management or profit management tool. So in this case, for example, let's imagine that you want to play the put support for a long trade. You now have a level that you could potentially use for your stop loss, right? Or let's say you don't want to enter immediately a put support, you want to wait until the price moves more towards the blind spot level there. So I think it could be an interesting way of managing the risk as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Because yesterday when we was in a pro group and when I was explaining how I'm trading the blind spots, I let also Jordan explain how he used the blind spot. He used it on a different way a little bit. And also I was asking other members who are also in the group, in the pro group, and was find out that someone was also saying about, hey, I like the blind spots for my risk management, as you was mentioned. So because if he won't trade the put support 0 DTE now on NQ and will be now taking the reserve to the upside, what is now at the moment in the play, because we get also economic data. He is using basically the BL8 as his stop loss, where he calculates his risk reward and say, okay, I want going long on put support 0 DTE. Of course, there's a pin risk, I know it, but the BL8, if we go below BL8, this will be my exit. And this is something what you can also use. And many of our traders basically on blind spots and on the pro group using exactly what you was talking about. And maybe John, how do you use the blind spots? We can talk again about this.
I would use them mostly for areas of support and resistance, but more so for longer term trades than reactions. I'd rather use the regular levels for scalping reactions. So they just kind of give me an idea of where support and resistance in the market are going to be.
Yeah. But this one, for example, could have been a nice, so your risk reward of 3, you're risking 12 points, and the upside move was about 60 points all the way through.
Yeah, and we can also the comment from Wagenda. First of all, welcome, Wagenda. I love to see you live again. A long time we not meet, but we would meet us yesterday in the pro room. And yes, everyone who is in the MenthorQ community or have access to our academy, I will not going into this. I was explaining this very often here on YouTube, also live. I'm using the Fibonacci principle very often, where I'm connecting levels, like, for example, blind spot to blind spot or gamma level to gamma level. What are the settings and how everything is working? This is absolutely magic. This is mind-blowing. It works perfect. But you can find this in the academy, or you can join our pro group. We will going over this really soon and very often. Yeah, Regina, you're completely right. So the Fibonacci is a secret sauce.
I love how he called your Fibonacci secret.
So, yeah.
Question for you, Patrick. What ticker do you use for the blind spot level? I think the answer is you don't need to change the ticker because you can have the blind spot on NQ already done for you. So there's no need to convert blind spots. They are already there on the ticker that you trade.
And the blind spots, Fabio, use the correlated products, right, to help build them. So,
yeah. So the blind spots are already looking at correlated assets, and basically they calculate the areas where we have the most potential reaction coming from cross-asset correlation, which is very important and is the same principle that we use for our forex. Blind spot. So because forex is a very fragmented market and there is not a lot of information and there's not also a lot of option data widely available in a centralized format, what we've done is we've built our new blind spot algorithm. That is basically the goal of the algorithm is to give you access to reaction areas that are not technical reaction. They're actually coming from a series of factors that we built. And, look at this. I'm just doing this live, it's the first time I see it this morning. But as you can see, basically, like the reaction was very strong at this blind spot 2 levels. We're looking at JPY, but we can also look at other assets. But very, very important, the price moves from one level to the other one. So if you are trading Forex, we're going to have a live session today at 2 p.m. There's going to be this is going to be a very, very strong indicator that you can use to potentially trade between those areas.
And Fabio, if I'm correct, can you also use the Forex blind spots to help with trading the futures contracts of the currencies?
So we actually have gamma levels on future currencies already, and we also have spots. Yeah. So what you see here, we also have our gamma levels indicator on the spot, which is leveraging the data coming from the futures. And this is important, but at the same time, the drawback of that is that futures volume is much lower than spot volume. That's why we've built kind of like our blind spots indicator. So you can leverage option data, but you can also leverage a more complex indicator that can give you the reaction areas by looking at different factors, not only option flow. Because the problem with Forex is that the option data is very sparse, and there's not really a centralized provider or market data that can give you a good idea of where the option market is in the Forex space.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if we're looking now to your chart, Fabio, this is exactly why we was developing the blind spots for the Forex markets, because now when we was talking here, when we're giving you the commentary, of course I was trading on my end. I was making a good profit, by the way, because with the futures gamma levels, everything becomes so easy, and also with the blind spots. And we want to give you also now more confirmation. So I talk at any time about this. So for me, MenthorQ is always my second confirmation. Why I'm speaking about second confirmation? Because I'm highly believe that you as individual trader, you should always trade your edge. Everyone has an edge. If you don't find your edge, you can go into our live session with Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie was talking about this also. But I think if you're looking into your trading journal, you have 100% some trades where you was making great profits, and maybe you have also trades where you're taking big losses. But the trades where you was making really good profits, think about that's your edge. That's basically where you make really good trading decisions. And now let's imagine you have some data provider like MenthorQ, who gives you data based on options, and you can use this now for your trading edge as second confirmation. Basically, you can plot this on your chart. We have so many integrations and so many platforms, and you can now see, hey, is the options world on my side? Is this now confirming my trading decision, or maybe should I rethink? Today it was so easy on the NQ. Why I'm talking about it's so easy. Trading is not easy. You can say, Patrick, you're talking bullshit. I get it. But if we're looking now, we're looking only from let's say 8 a.m. to now. We have only the picture 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for now, and we're going to the 1 minute time frame. You see really and supply and demand area. You see high wall and BL4. What is high wall? It's the gamma flip area. And above, we have the blind spots. So basically, we are not flipping in positive gamma. So we stay below a negative gamma. And we are in the range at the moment. And where's the bottom of the range? You got it. Put support USDT and BL8. It's so simple. It's really so simple. And think about what I'm talking always about. See this as strong magnets. We are blind spots supporting some gamma levels. That's magnets. So what we see blind spots for strong magnet. We came from the downside. We're going back to blind spot 4 and high wall. Boom, we fall down again. And where we stopping? Boom, on put support and BL8. Strong magnet. And if you understand the simple concept without overcomplicating crazy mathematically technical stuff, without asking me why, then you become much more successful in your trading.
Patrick, another thing I would say about the blind spots is, so if you were long off put support, we're coming up to that other blind spot where we are right now. You may want to consider scaling out if you have multiple contracts on, or moving up your stop loss, trailing up your stop loss, because there is a chance we're going to stall here and stop. And if you didn't have the blind spot there, you wouldn't have known that. So that's another way I would use it.
And I get the question if I'm using Bookmap or footprints. I can tell you I'm not using Bookmap. I'm not using footprints. And I give you a clear answer why. Because in the pro group, I have Jordan on my side. Basically, we're trading every single trading day together. Jordan is using Bookmap. Jordan is using footprints. He's really good in this. I don't need this because Jordan has some really strong edge in maybe reading Bookmap, reading different stuff than me. I have a really big edge in reading options order flow in real time. I have a real good edge in dark pool. I have a real good edge and see something different than other ones. And also I have a really good edge in MenthorQ to understand when I should be enter, when I should be not going into the market, when we have a range, when we should not take some big risk on it. That's me. And Jordan is more on my end. He's my trading buddy at the moment. I can tell Jordan, yeah, you are my trading buddy. So we hang around every single day, and you are the one who is presenting us Bookmap also. I don't have to be an edge in Bookmap because I have you.
So
we are strong as a team. So
one thing you like the way you could use Bookmap is you see when it's coming into these important levels, you see what's happening on Bookmap, how the orders are coming in, how the flow is, whether they're hitting a bunch of icebergs or stop runs, and you can sort of use the levels as your, like you said, as a secondary confirmation as to what is happening live at these areas. And that you can use the footprint for that too. So you just see, we're coming up to this blind spot area. We're coming up to this important MenthorQ level. Are they protecting that level? Are they selling? Is there rejection at that level? And that's how you could use the levels as secondary using bookmap and footprint.
And I think also, like, if we take away like the levels right now, right? Think about, let's say that you went long because you saw this big candle, right? And we are in an uptrend, but where do you stop and where do you start taking profits? So if we take away like these data points, like you might think the price could potentially go maybe all the way up, maybe where we were yesterday, but by adding this and by understanding what the high vol level means and what the blind spot level means, like as we saw, there was a strong reaction. We didn't go through this level. We just stalled there and we went down, and now we are trying to move past that, but it's still not happening. So understanding this point in the chart and what it represents from the option standpoint, I think is very important. And for those who don't know, the high vol level is the areas where we are flipping from positive to negative gammas. So this is a very, very strong reaction area from a market making standpoint.
One thing I was, Fabio, I was talking to Patrick about yesterday was I was thinking of the analogy of if you use the levels as, they could be compared to airports. Where the airports are, but how the plane flies and gets there can be many different ways, many different routes. So it tells you where you need to look, but how people get there, they can do it in many different ways. And that's where you have to find your trading style.
Yeah, and I use the analogy of, when you drive at night and you have your light, right? You can see in front of you, but you cannot see far far away. You can see if the corner approaches, right? And similar to what you see here, these are big levels that you need to watch for. And they are printed on your chart, as Patrick say, at the end of the day. And we also have intraday. I think there was a question about intraday, and absolutely, we do have intraday. So we're going to show you how to potentially add them as well. But understanding what this level represents can really give you an idea of where the market could go.
I mean, and right now we are at HVL and blind spot 4, and there is no doubting why this market now is stalling here and bouncing, right at that level. So you could definitely see that it's having a hard time getting through it. I mean, it's been sitting there now for 5 or 6 minutes right at that level.
Yeah, and let me add something to this. Let me look into the name again. Tarek. So, Tarek, to answer your question about bookmap and all other stuff. So we are, of course, not here to promote bookmap or something like this. But I want to add a last comment on this. And I think that's really important to understand why, for me, as host, the pro group is so important for me as a trader also. Because first, if we're trading alone, we can make so much mistakes. It can be really hard times for us. If we're trading together, it becomes much easier. Why? Because you be more patient. You have second confirmation from trade buddies. Like, hey, you can ask, hey, Jordan, what do you see at the moment? Do you like the short or do you like more the long, and why? So that he can maybe give you some different view of the market. Think about, very often Jordan is short and I'm long. It's very often like this. Hey, I say to Jordan, hey Jordan, I'm short. Hey, and he say, hey Patrick, I'm going the opposite. And that's
but we have different time frames too. So I'm just looking for a quick scalp, and you're looking for more extended. So
that's
a lot of times we're both right.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So basically, you have another view on your trading decision from a real human. And also, what you should be also not forget is we have different traders with different approach. So we have also some traders who really like initial balance. who like technical analysis, who like, I don't know, whatever. And they helping us also with this, what they see in initial balance, what they see in volume profile, what they see in, I don't know, delta, what they see in footprints. And that's the big spirit of everything. Because you get now the feeling you sit on a trading desk and around you, there are some good traders and they're sharing with you the trading ideas and what they see. And then you can put from everyone the golden nuggets and bring this into your trading decision and you become much better.
Yeah, and I think there's another question, Patrick, about the schedule and if we are trading together. Maybe you want to spend some time on this, discussing how much time we spend together and how much time you're trading together with a group.
Yeah, so beginning next week, we're starting one London session. So this is an experiment because the most price action is when we're trading NASDAQ and when we're trading, for example, ES or we're trading commodities. Of course, it will be much more the New York session. And for this reason, our focus is really on the morning. We're starting from 9:30 until 12 p.m. to lunchtime. And then we are back for the power hour. So this means 3:30 to 4 p.m. And that's something what we do. We hang around each week 20 hours together, live trading, and we have 1 hour where we have a group session. I call this more group mentorship. This is every Monday. Yeah, it's so good. I like it.
Yeah, it's a round table that where we just sit and discuss what we've learned and what we could improve on and stuff like that. And to answer the question the person asked is, we don't trade all day. We trade in the morning and we trade at the power hour because that's where all the action is. And it's important that everybody take a break from the screens in the middle of the day so that you're sane and don't lose your mind and can refresh, because it's not good to trade tired.
Yeah, and also one of the biggest error that a lot of traders do is they want to overtrade, right? When in reality, you just need a very good trade. Like in this example, all you needed was one good movement, and there's nothing else to do for the day because the future allows you to get a lot of leverage. So,
yep.
And we can look again in the NQ chart. What has happened? We stay in the range. So the BL4 high wall area is holding strong. That's a good sign for me that the data working very well. Did this means we hold this area and we fall down again? Of course not. But if we breaking this will be mean we have strong momentum, we get strong volume, and this is something how I understand this. But if we fall down again, it will be not wondering if we stop again on put support 0DT and BL8. If we hold this area, there's one thing what I was learning in the past, John, and I think we were speaking about this very often. Wait for the retest. If you want to take now out the breakout trade, it could be work, of course, but very often, if you're trading, for example, the 1 minute, 2 minute, or 5 minute time frame, wait for the retest. And at the moment, what you can see, it's really the pin risk. So because we are on a high wall level, think about 25 points plus or 25 points down. That's the high wall pin risk. Very often we see this, so nothing has happened anymore. Don't get nervous on this area. Don't fall in the trap.
To Patrick, that what you were saying, I agree 100% with you that I would consider this level holding until we break at least one ATR above it and then come back and retest it. And that's where I would enter along. But I would not, until we break this area by at least an ATR, think that this area is not going to hold. And as we see, I mean, it's been 10 minutes now and it's holding right at this area. And that's, less than 20 points for NQ, which is nothing.
And that's basically what I was learning from you guys. So when Cherie was there, when you was there, I was talking about the pin risk and saying, hey, the pin risk is about 25 points on NQ. We should be very careful of this. Then you, Jordan, and Cherie was coming, hey, that's basically one ATR.
Yep.
So, and this is what I'm meaning when we're talking about and putting all our minds together, because then we understand much more from the market, because we grow every single day. I don't want to see you that you grow with your P&L. The P&L grow is only a bonus, but I want to see that you grow as a trader with your experience day by day by day.
Perfectly said.
And I think we have a couple of questions I think will be very useful to get your take on. So one is from Tariq, and we're going to get back to the question from Miranda. So I am from Switzerland. Obviously, we have different times. When should I use end-of-day levels and intraday gamma levels? So, and then this goes in line with another question that we have. Do you incorporate intraday levels since they are more dynamic, or do you find end-of-day levels sufficient? So first, I'll explain the different times and levels that we have, and then we can go in how you, Patrick, and Jordan use it. So we have end-of-day levels and intraday levels. So if you go back on your dashboard, we have our end-of-day data and we have our intraday data. We update intraday data 14 times per day, starting from 9:35. So basically, you get the opening levels and then all the way through to 3:30 every half an hour. So basically, the intraday levels change every half an hour. So you can kind of like get them here, or you could also use our indicator right here, which is our intraday gamma levels. I'm going to open it up. The intraday levels are not yet available on futures, but you can convert intraday gamma levels of another asset. For example, if you trade NQ, you could use our QQQ conversion or our NDX conversion, and then basically you can plot the intraday levels directly on your chart, and we can see how different they are. So let's just plot our primary levels, and let's just make the color orange, and let's just offset by 150 candles. So now you have right here what you see in orange is the primary levels from QQQ. And then what you can do is you can then compare with the end of the levels that we see here. One thing we do is with the intradays, we recalculate the one-day min and the one-day max only once at the open at 9:35. So for example, yesterday was a good case where you had NVIDIA opening with a gap, and the intraday gamma levels were exactly at the one-day minimum when the price bounced to the downside and reversed back to the upside. So very, very important.
And how I'm using this, Fabio, is really simple and really easy. So we have to think about first where we came from, Fabio. And I think when we're starting with MenthorQ, we have always the end of the day levels. And we was really successful with this. If you're looking into our member success area, if I'm looking into my trading journey and my trading journals and my track record, I'm really, really successful with the end of the day levels. And for me, I'm not new on MenthorQ. So for me, I have always in my mind why I'm shortchanging and winning system. It makes absolutely no sense. So I like the end of the day levels, but there are few reasons why I'm using the intraday levels. So we have in the past few events, really crazy ones, where our end of the day levels was out of order. And we would be so happy if we have intraday levels, Fabio, correct?
Yep.
That we can say, okay, man, maybe we can give you something. And then we getting the idea, hey, okay, on MenthorQ, we will add really soon intraday levels so that we don't have any more the problem. And that's the key. So when the intraday levels makes for me as a trader who trades mostly NQ futures really sense, if we have a strong economic event like CPI, FOMC minutes, NVIDIA earnings, that I can see how is the option chain now looking like, what is changed. And also, for me, the snapshot, what I'm really using every single day is the 935, available 950. And why I'm using this? Because there's the last time where we calculating for you guys the 1-day min and the 1-day max. And I want to see the change of the 1-day min and the 1-day max compared to the end of the day data. Because this gives me some idea in what direction I should be look. Are we more bullish or are we more bearish? Based on options data, not on my bias, because my bias is always neutral. But I want to see what is the bias at the moment from the options market based on the 1-day min, 1-day max. That's really, really important for me. And this is why I'm using the intraday levels. When we have events, to prepare for the events and to have an idea how the 1-day min and the 1-day max are changed. So that's really, really important for me.
Patrick, I think I agree with you. I think with what you're trying to say, and I'm not 100% sure, is when we have big overnight moves and we are out of the areas where the end of day levels come into play, that's when the intraday levels are good. Because if we move way above any of the end of day levels we have, that's where we can really use the intraday levels. Is that what you were kind of saying?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, good. I start with the end of the day levels, and I will add intraday levels. And I really like when the intraday levels overlap with the end of day levels. It seems to be another confirmation that that area is really good. Like you can see, the put support QQQ is right on the right below the HVL 0DT and the X3 right now. So I would look at that if we came back down as a pretty strong level.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. I think the end of day. So we started at the beginning of 2023 with just end of day on SPX, and that was very, very successful. And then of course we introduced the intraday because the volatility has increased since then. We had a lot of events. We had the elections. We had, of course, the tariff event, and of course, it's very important to understand what's happening throughout the day. But at the same time, if we take away the intraday, without the end of day, we could have potentially missed this massive move that we see here, which was at the put support 0DTs from yesterday, basically.
I hope it's clear for everybody watching. I know it is for me when I look at this stuff, and I've been doing it for a while. But I hope that when people are looking at it now, they're seeing the power and how clear that is.
But I can give you also a really good example why for me the intraday levels very often not working. When I would be update this every 30 minutes, why this would be not working for me, and here's one point for me, because if I'm looking on the chart, I have my areas what I really like to trade, and mostly I'm looking also into the gamma areas like call resistance, put support, high wall, and then I'm looking to the blind spots and everything like this. So I have a clear mind and a clear trading idea on my mind. And now I would be changed to the intraday, and maybe the put support is now, I don't know, 30 points above or 30 points below, because now we have intraday levels and everything is changed. So basically my whole trading idea would be changed. And this would makes me so hard nervous, because I have to rethink again. And this is something what I not like. Maybe the put support is at the moment on a different area. I got it. It's for you guys who trading options, really important. But for me as futures traders, it's in the moment where I'm developing my trading idea. It's no more important. That's why I like to have the end of the day as my major levels, and that's it. And this is how I'm working.
I think it's important to see that. I'd like to ask everybody out there, how important would it be for you to go into the trading day knowing an area where the market may get hung up for 20, 30 minutes, like where it is now, and instead of getting the breakout that you thought would happen if you didn't have the levels there, you just get chopped up for the last half hour.
Yep.
And so that's something that I love to know ahead of time. And
I think,
stay
Jordan,
out of the chop.
that goes back to the question, right? So we don't provide you with signals. That's not the point of our product. We don't want to tell you where to trade, but we want to give you the data that can help you understand what to do. So it's basically based on you. So Patrick and Jordan have two completely different strategies, but they're using the same data to get an edge. So, maybe if Patrick were trading the same way Jordan did, would not be successful, but he developed like a really good strategy and is leveraging the data to potentially build that strategy. And Jordan, on the other hand, is doing something completely different, but he's using the same data to build the edge for his scalping strategy and also to trade different markets. So I think that the answer is we cannot tell you what to do because we don't know what's your background, what's your risk tolerance, what's your psychology behind when you go into a loss. So it's up to you to really build your strategy, but we can provide you the data to support you.
Yeah, and I took 3 trades this morning, and since the last half hour, I've been sitting on my hands because there's no way I'm going to get involved with this mess where we are now. And that's, I think, important to know when to stay out of the market.
Yep. And let us know, guys, if you have any other question. Thank you for being very interactive today, and thank you for all the questions that you sent. I hope this was helpful. And then, Patrick, maybe we can spend more time going into what we're going to do next week in the Pro. I'm just going to add basically we're still under our promo for both Premium and Pro, and maybe maybe if you want to go over what we've done this week, because I think it wasn't just trading, but it was also like you guys spend a lot of time developing lessons for each day. And I think we are week 1 or week 2, actually. We're going to do this for 6 weeks. And I was watching other videos, and they were really amazing on how you were able to simplify the way to read not only the data, but also the trading style.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. When me and Jordan was really thinking about to have every day some lesson what we can maybe teach the people, I was not thinking about how easy can this, because every time when we recording the lessons for you and we're doing this live in the Pro trading room together with all the Pro members, our goal is to make the lessons maybe only for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Because we want to simplify this as easy as possible for you, that you have never think about this anymore. Because in the moment where you can explain something what is really complicated in 1 minute or 2 minutes, that everyone understands this, and this is a really good lesson for you. And then it's so helpful for you. And this is exactly what we're doing. Sometimes our lessons are only 1 minute, 2 minutes, because we bring this really quick on the point, and that's it. And really good. What I'm really like on the lessons is we going from any attendee who is at the moment joining us on the live trading room, and we ask him, hey, what do you think about this? What is your lesson about this? And we add also some different view from other traders, because it's so important not have only one single mentor who teach you something, have different mentors, because that's the way how you can grow as trader, because you get different views of the market, you get different views of how I can use something. And this is something what we're doing every single day. You get a lesson. Sometimes it's only 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but we want to make this as easy as possible that you can understand this so easily. Yesterday, by the way, we were speaking about the blind spots, so it was really cool. And it was so simple and easy for everyone to understand this. And what we're also doing in the pro room is we understand us as trading family. And I can say about this really proud. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome with different trading styles, because we want that anyone grow because of the community, because of the feedback from other ones. We have people who have funded accounts. We have people who are dealing with investors. We have people who trading his own money. So we have different trading styles, but we're looking on the same market. And that's something what is really cool. So you get so many feedback from different trader. I can give you one example from one follow trader. He asked a question over the weekend, last weekend. Hey, I get now 500 accounts and I don't want to mess up with this. Can I have some feedback how my risk management should be looking like? What should I be looking for? And it was so crazy. He gets so much feedback from me, from John, from other traders, so that he can collect all the thoughts together and find out what golden nuggets are really good for him. And he was really enjoying this because he gets so great feedback. And that's something what I'm really liking. And it's not only that we in the community know, we see us also every Monday in the weekly roundtable on camera. We speak together. And in the live trading room, we have open mic. So basically, you can speak to someone. It's not that you're looking to someone. You can speak, you can interact with us. You are now on the trading desk with us together. And that's the really powerful thing, that we can speak together about the view of the market. We can help us together. But there's only one simple rule in the market and also in the room. No bullshit. Don't talk about I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. No. We like it really to be patient, to be calm. And if you see something what is really important for other traders, give us the notes. And that's the only rules what we have.
We don't mind if you say you're in and out, just you have to have a reason why. What is the reason why you're doing it, not just you're hitting buttons. And the good thing about the pro room is if somebody has a question about, MenthorQ levels or how to interpret something, it's immediate feedback because they can just ask and Patrick or I or somebody else can answer quickly.
Yeah, and what we're doing also is last week I was starting with a morning prep. This is not only available for the pro members, but this is free for everyone if you sign up in our Discord. I'm doing 2 days or 3 days each week, so morning prep. It's from 9 to 9:15, where I'll be looking together with you in the market, what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking about, and all this stuff. And you can rewatch maybe some little tiny 2-minute videos based on this. It's on YouTube, but the full recording is only available for the pros. But the last morning preps, Fabio, and he was also cutting the videos for me for YouTube. We was straight on the point with the NASDAQ, what I was talking about the one-day min and the one-day max, where we are, what I'm thinking about, what could be happened if the market is open. We were speaking about the NVIDIA earnings. We were speaking about gold. It was so crazy. Everything was working perfect. And that's something what you get also. And we have now the partnership with TrendSpider. We are so happy with this. And you was talking about this yesterday in our product launch, the integration to TrendSpider. Correct, Fabio? If I was watching this. And I will working now every single day for, let's say, a few days, maybe, I don't know if I have time, a little bit more, and developing every single day some scanners for you. Of course, I will share this with you in the MenthorQ community, my scanners. We will review this together. But on the Pro Room, we're going much, much more deeper into the scanners and how the TrendSpider scanner is working for you as futures traders, how you can use this. We're giving you more feedback about this, how you can find better trading opportunities, why I'm setting up some scanner and everything like this. So we're adding much, much, much more. And one of the big commitment what we're giving also to the Pro Room is we're having now Jordan as official a pro member in our group. So we are now not only me, it's also now with Jordan. So yeah, we have now strong power, and we will developing more and more and more together.
And Patrick, even though you and I mainly focus on futures, the program is not just for futures traders, because basically what we're talking about is levels, momentum, all that kind of stuff. It's not just futures. You can use, if you're an options trader, you can use that information to trade options or stocks or whatever. But you know, it's not just for futures traders, if somebody was thinking that.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think, Patrick, I'm actually meeting with the TrendSpider later. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to start building a lot of different scanners with your help as well. And the beauty is that with TrendSpider, once you connect your account, you'll be able to access all the screeners, all the indicators. So we have 3 indicators right now, but we are developing new indicators. We're also going to develop the ability to backtest strategies. So we're developing like an historical API for the integrations. And basically, from your standpoint, once you connect your integration right here, then you'll get access to all the tools. So you don't actually have to manually create them and manually redo it. We will share it for you because of the amazing TrendSpider infrastructure. It's awesome.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and the other thing, if you wanna, there was a question about sessions for premium and session for pro. So basically, if you go in the dashboard now, you have access to our YouTube live events. So these are public, and then we also have our calendar here. So if you go to our calendar, you'll be able to see all the different events. Some of them will be available for premium, some of them will be available just for pro, but you'll be able to monitor all our events. So we're live 20 plus hours per week, and we're also on YouTube as well with a lot of different guests. Today we have a very special one for our FX trading course and FX trading live session. So we're very excited about that, and we're going to do more and more of those, but everything is available right here.
And we get the question if we're trading mostly ES and NQ in the pro group. This is a really good question. If you're asking about me, I'm trading mostly NQ. I think, John, you trading mostly ES, but the team spirit of the pro group, we have also swing trading trader who trading stocks. We have people who trading gold. We have people who trading natural gas. So we have a big bench of many traders, and that's good, because something what I'm seeing on NQ could be really important maybe for you as swing trader, and with what you see as swing trader could be really important for me. What I'm meaning is, yes, my focus is NQ, John's focus is ES, but we're looking really to different assets. We have an open mind for everything, and the main goal is learning, and growing.
Yeah, I trade mostly, well, I'd say 60-40 ES NQ, but I think the room isn't, it's not important really what we trade, because the room isn't a signal service. It's learning how to read the market, read the levels, and how to prepare more so. And that can be for any
That's a good
market
point.
that you trade. So, yeah, I mean,
That's a good point.
there was somebody who's in our group who was having issues with the volatility of NQ. So we said, well, maybe you slow down and you look at, ES, or you look at the Russell, or you even like corn. You can trade corn because the MenthorQ levels work great with corn. So, you try to find what you want to trade and what suits your personality. It's not a signals. We're not giving signals. We're teaching you how to read and maybe something you haven't thought of before.
Let
Yes,
us know,
correct.
guys, any question on what we do there. But I think the value there is incredible. You get to spend 20 hours a week with Patrick and Jordan, and also the community, which is growing together. So I think is an amazing value. And with the promo, you can also get our 40% discount until Monday the 2nd of June. So we're very excited about that. And then you can join the room as early as next week and basically trade together and learn together. So it's not a signal room. The idea behind is not to tell you what to do. We don't do that, but we show you what we do and how we interpret the data. And then, of course, you can then use that to build your edge and your strategy for the future.
And also, if people do join, I think it's helpful if when they come into the pro room or pro chat on Discord, if they introduce themselves and say a little bit about their trading experience, what they trade and stuff, just so we can get an idea of, maybe there's something we know that we can help them with immediately.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, and there are also one thing. I get so many questions about, hey, Patrick, do you offer mentorship? Can you help me? Can I speak 10 minutes to you? And all this crazy stuff. I get so many messages about this. But I can tell you now, and that's one thing what I'm doing. I'm not offering any mentorship anymore outside. If you want to talk 10 minutes to me, feel absolutely free to take a moment, join the pro, maybe only for 1 month to figure out how everything is working. If you want a bigger discount, of course, the yearly. But if you want really some mentorship, if you want coaching, if you want grow as a trader, if you want leverage based on your trading edge, you need some other people who are looking on this, you want become accountability, and all the other stuff. You want work on your trading strategy together with other traders. That's the group where we help you. I'm not doing this outside. I'm not sharing so many stuff outside. Everything what I'm sharing is in the pro group, and it will be staying in the pro group.
Awesome. I think this was an amazing session, and thank you, Patrick and Jordan. And again, guys, don't miss the next one. So we're going to be live at 2 p.m. today. You can find the link on our YouTube channel. So if you go here on our YouTube live event, just click on the link, and then basically we're going to be live on YouTube at 2 p.m. and we're going to talk about Forex. We're going to show you how we can use the data for Forex, and we're going to have an experienced trader that's traded Forex for 20 plus years there with us as well. So don't miss that. It will also be recorded, so you will find it here. But it's going to be a very good chance to ask any question live with Jay and Patrick, and we're going to see each other later at 2 p.m. So,
I don't trade Forex, but I'm excited for it too, because you can always learn something, because markets are markets. If you don't trade Forex, you jump on and learn something.
Absolutely.
I will promise you, if you're not a Forex trader, you should not miss the session, because I like Jay really well. He's really crazy. He has a really nice mindset, and I promise you, if you're not a Forex trader, you will get also some gold nuggets what you can take on your other assets, whatever you trade. If you trade stocks, futures, whatever, I think you will find some gold nuggets there. And don't watch only the recordings, because if you're not live, you miss the opportunity to ask any questions. Because if you want to speak with Jay, maybe in the future, you have to contact him. And as everyone, why someone should be share something for free? So that's your opportunity where you can ask also any question what you may have, and you get the answer. But if you miss the opportunity, of course, you can watch the recording. But in the live session, you have the opportunity to ask any question what you have.
Absolutely.
All right. I would thank you for everyone for joining us. I will not have the last word today, so that's why I'm saying goodbye. Enjoy the weekend. We see us later. And now I'm giving the last words to Jordan and Fabio.
Fabio, do we have a minute for Patrick to put something on his screen?
Sure.
Patrick, can you flip over to the ES?
No, I'm on the mobile phone. I cannot do it.
Oh, you can't? Oh, okay, that's okay. I was just saying we have a good example in the ES of breaking through HVL, going up, ATR 2 or 3, and coming back, retesting the HVL level again, and bouncing almost to the tick immediately off of it. So you can see in real time how powerful these levels are. It's not just coincidence that it came down there and turned around.
Yep.
So, that's
thank you, Jordan. This was awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Patrick, and see you guys later. And for those who are not going to be joining the event, have a great weekend, and we're going to be back again next week. Thank you, guys.